amigos, una vez más nos encontramos en su programa Ópera en tu sofá. This time around, we have an amazing singer with us. Her name is Andrea Carroll. I'm very proud to be close to her, and to have seen her career going like. I met Andrea many years ago in the first time I met her, actually, you know what? I met you in Washington, the Washington Opera. You were singing Rosalba of Florencia en el Amazonas. And after that, I saw you in New York. You were singing El Gato con Botas with Gotham. So anyway, so here we are. She has Guatemalan, I would say, blood or heritage. And welcome, Andrea.
Having Gracias por la invitación. Hola a todos. Es un placer estar aquí en una silla, no en mi sofá, pero igual. So, yes, we met almost more than 6 years ago. It's crazy.
Crazy time.
Yeah, it's crazy times, and a lot has happened since then, but it's beautiful that everything comes full circle
Yes,
again.
yes. I was very pleased to see you singing in Bohème. You have your voice now is like in full blossom, I would say.
Thank you.
That was amazing, amazing performance, and I know that our audience also enjoyed it a lot. So why don't you tell us a little bit of yourself, your career, your childhood, whatever you want to share with us?
Well, I was born in Thailand, actually. That's a sort of interesting fact. Yes, my family has always been sort of, we like to say multiculti. I love that term. So my mom is from Guatemala, as you said, nací en Guatemala. My entire mom's side of the family is in Guatemala, and I grew up with Spanish as my first language and going to Guatemala at least once a year. I have I don't know, something like 22 first cousins, and it's like my big fat Greek wedding, if you've seen that movie, but it's in Spanish. So lots of music, lots of talking, lots of laughter. And on my dad's side is Austrian Hungarian. But there's also a lot of Spanish influence and Latin American influence as well. My grandfather on my dad's side worked in Ecuador for many years, and my grandmother was working in Nicaragua for many years. And then my dad and my uncles actually lived in Chile when they were growing up. So my father also speaks Spanish. So it's always been Latin American culture and traditions, and in my case, personality always feels very connected to me. So the music, the dancing, esa chispa, being on stage, eso es muy importante y forma una parte enorme de mi ser. I've always felt really at home in Latin America and around that. So that's the little cultural background here. But yeah, so I was born in Thailand. My dad was working for the World Bank, and they were living in Nepal when my mom was pregnant. So before the age of 6, I believe, was it 6? I lived in Nepal and Bolivia, and then we moved back to the DC area. So that was sort of my start in this multi thing. So I always loved languages. I think that's something that also drew me to opera, is I was always around. You know, my grandmother spoke 6 languages, and my grandfather speaks either 6 or 7 languages. And there's a lot of that in my family, and I love that about opera. I was always a musical child. I knew very early on that I wanted to be on stage, that I wanted to sing. But part of what drew me to opera specifically was also that deeply cultural and linguistic aspect of the art form.
So, when did you really started training your voice? So I imagine when you were in DC, and where?
Well, yes. I mean, I was always, even in preschool in Bolivia, la maestra le decía a mi mamá, pero no deja de cantar esta niña, no deja de cantar, la tenés que meter un coro. En la iglesia también, we would be in church, and you know, the Alleluia would happen, or the hymns, and my mom said that from my stroller I would go mas when it would stop. So I was always in choir. I always loved to sing. And then slowly it developed into wanting to do musical theater. So I became completely obsessed with Broadway musicals, and I thought, okay, I want to be Barbara Streisand and belt out all these tunes. And it was when I was about 12, I started taking voice lessons, and my teacher was a retired opera singer, and she heard something there, and she started, not so gently, I was going to say gently, but she started pushing me in that direction, and I was pretty resistant at first. I said, well, no, that's for old people. I said that, you know, I'm not interested in opera. But then I went to go see an opera with my grandparents. We went to go see, I think it was La Boheme. We saw Don Giovanni and La Boheme in short succession at Washington National Opera, actually, and at the Kennedy Center. And I was just blown away, just jaw on the floor. I was like, this is the best of everything that could have actually happened. It's, you know, I love that it was in a different language. I love that it was without microphone. I loved that it was a mix of different cultures. And then I just became completely obsessed. I was really like an opera nerd by the time I was 13. I was, you know, 2 a.m. listening to Joan Sutherland, Micaëla Freni, just, yeah. So that was that. I knew when I was 13 that that's what I wanted to do.
So why don't we listen to you sing? Why don't we do that? And it will be a surprise for our audience. So we won't tell them what you're gonna sing, but
Okay.
let's do that.
Okay.
Sognava vento magico, un guardo tempo ignoto, sognava che si bruciano i cognamento un breve sorrisetto, uno sogno defetto, diventa sogno la lagrima d'un sole giorno, conosco mille modi, che l'amorosi frodi, i verso arti facili, però destare un breve sorrisetto, uno sogno defetto, conosco, un subito all'amore, famiglia virtuosa,
your voice. This is,
Oh,
it's this thing.
thank you, thank you.
Anyway, beautiful.
I think
Well,
voices are
let me
fascinating.
ask you something. Two things. I would like you to talk about your icons. That's my cat meowing.
He
So
wants
please
to
don't
sing
disturb.
too.
And I would also would like for you to describe your voice. So in whichever order. And then you
Wow.
will talk to us about your teachers. So icons, describe your voice, teachers, or in however order you want.
Okay. Hmm. Well, something I'm working on is actually trying to enjoy listening to myself sing. Um, I've always felt deeply uncomfortable listening to recordings of myself. It's almost like, you know, people say it's weird to hear yourself talking if you're listening to your speaking voice, but it's also sort of like that for me with singing, but I'm getting better at it. But what I do, I will say one thing I do like about my voice is I think it has a nice color in the middle. I don't know, I like that there's this sort of richer color in the middle. You know, a lot of people, when you, even when you're a soprano or you're a tenor or you get sort of facht within your fach. What kind of soprano are you exactly? What are you? And I think for me, that's a little bit fluid still because I like staying versatile in terms of roles. I like that I sing from Susanna to Rosalba to Gilda to Leila to Musetta. And I like that. I like that. I like when I see that in other people's careers. I would like that for my own. And I think that sometimes in the opera world, you
You're,
get those people who say,
yeah.
yeah, well, how can you sing, you know, Lucia and Despina at the same time? That Rigoletto and Così fan tutte are completely different voice types. And I just don't agree with that. I like that challenge. I think that versatility is healthy. And that's something that I do enjoy about, at least currently, in my voice, and
Yeah,
something I would like to keep.
but I just want to comment. This has been lately in voices because, like earlier, like in the, let's say, earlier in the 20th century and so on, there was not this so the reduction of the voices. It was more fluid, and this has been more lately. This thing that
I
you have to be classified.
I
No?
agree. It kind of rolls into your question about icons or singers that I admire are usually the ones who have this kind of versatility. Someone like Franny, you know,
Ajá,
sing
Mirela.
Mireia cantando Chocho San y Susana.
Sí,
I mean,
Mirela es increíble, pero it's also healthy for the voice.
it's incredibly healthy.
Sí.
I think it keeps the range buoyant and stretchy as it should. I like accessing completely different registers and colors. So from my perspective, as long as it's healthy, it's healthily produced and it sounds good, then you know what's the problem? I also just in general, outside of operatic roles, I still love musical theater. I said, you know, early on, I love Broadway. I love Zarzuela. I love art song. I
So
love
tell us, who were your icons? Pop icons or
pop icons. Oh my goodness. Josh Guerrero, I'm sure mentioned this, but I'm obsessed with Luis Miguel. You know, just boleros, boleros. I grew up on boleros, and
I'm obsessed with Luis Miguel.
good. We have a fan club at San Diego Opera for Luis Miguel. So yeah, I mean, when I was much younger, I thought I wanted to be some amalgamation of Mariah Carey and Christina Aguilera because they also have
Really?
incredible range, huge range, and that you can tell that it takes not just natural talent but quite a bit of technique. I've always been fascinated by
Yes.
tech by the vocal production, what that means. So the
Yeah,
pedagogy behind singing.
I think it's important for our audience to know that you guys, singers, have these other icons that are not, opera singers, but that
Absolutely.
help you on how you create your voice too, how you feel the voice. It's important, I think.
Absolutely. And you know, I do listen to opera But I enjoy singing it way much more than actually listening to it. In my free time, I listen way more to jazz, to Spanish songs, to, talk about another icon. I love, technically, I feel I've been very influenced by listening to what Ella Fitzgerald does too. People like that, people like Billie Holiday. It's all a piecing together of accessing the different colors that you have and feeling the versatility and the honesty to be able to do that. I think it's cool. I love
Yeah,
choral music too.
the layers, all the layers that conform who you are and how you sing. Anyway, so we go to the last question in this segment, which is your teachers. Who are your teachers? Who are you grateful to have had in your life?
Well, that saying that says it takes a village.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so it's the full saying is it takes a village to raise a child, but it also takes a village to build this career for any musician. From it's not just your voice teacher, of course they're important, but it's the coaches, it's the directors, it's the mentors, it's the people you meet along the way who you can bounce ideas off of. Like, I feel I can do that with you. Yo siento que te puedo llamar y te puedo decir, mira, ¿qué crees? Can I sing this role? Or do you hear this in my voice? There's a huge circle of, you work with a conductor who really gets your voice well, and then that's a beautiful relationship you can carry with you. But my voice teacher currently is Stephen King. He teaches, he's connected with HGO, he's connected with LA Opera, he has a private studio, he was in Aspen for many years, and a lot of people call him the King because his last name is King, and he's also sort of this voice whisperer. And what I love about him in particular is that a lot of teachers, voice teachers, they just, it's one technique. If you study with X person, it's the same for every singer, but he's very malleable, he's very intuitive, and he can teach any voice type, really, which I think is great. It's a lot of focus on breath and support, which is something I hadn't really had in my undergraduate studies. And I've also built up a network of coaches, some pianists and some coaches who are ears I really, really trust. I have a great relationship with Patrick Summers in Houston, with Francesca Zambello. These are people I really trust and who I feel know my voice very, very well. And I know that I'm in good hands if I ever ask them for advice or consult them about repertoire or future projects.
Yeah, I think in this career of music, one needs a lot of honesty
Yeah.
from others, and it's also about trusting the other person. So it's trust and honesty. These are fundamentals in the career. Anyway, so now we're gonna go to listen to you sing again, and this will be another surprise. So, folks, let's listen to Andrea Carroll sing. meant for our audience to have you here with us. I foresee you having a super big career. I
Gracias.
saw your performance in Bohème. I was like, this girl is fire on stage. Thank you. I mean, for coming and for being part of this very innovative, modern project. How do you feel about it?
Well, I mean, it was just, I think part of the reason that this Bohème was so electric, other than having a wonderful cast, is that it was just an explosion of joy. After something so joyful and so honest, after all these months of not being able to express ourselves. And it was really a magical group of people. And we were so thankful for this risk taking and the bravery and the creativity of San Diego Opera. And for me, who was making my debut with the company, I truly would not have chosen any different way, because I think that we were able to see sides of each other and open up parts of our personalities and hearts that maybe wouldn't have been there in the normal kind of structured
Yeah,
normal contract. So it was just,
it
it
was
was
magical. I would say it was magical. Andrea, we're at the end of the program. I would like to ask you if you could give some advice to a younger singer, if you could.
absolutely. I would say, we were talking about who your who my teachers are and who you trust. You do have to build a network of people around you who you trust. But the most important voice is your own. I would recommend, I still struggle with this, and it's a daily reminder, but it's been a very important one, is that the voice inside of you, not just your singing voice, but your voice, that little gut feeling, is the strongest one. To trust your voice, trust your timeline, not compare yourself too much to other people's careers and trajectories, because everybody has their own path. And even in somebody's height of success, they've also had their low peaks, and your timeline is absolutely your own. Your technique is absolutely your own. And to create a network of people who love you and know you, and that you can trust, but to stay strong in your own convictions as well about how you want your career to look.
Wonderful words for a young singer. Muchas gracias, Andrea. We come
Gracias
to
a
the end of
ti.
the program. Muchísimas gracias, de verdad. Te mando un abrazo desde acá.
Un abrazote.
Eh, I hope we have you doing another role with us.
I
I know
would love
that
that.
it will happen. I know that eh, it, it will happen. Anyway, so
Good.
thank you so much, friends. Muchas gracias por estar en el programa de Ópera en tu sofá, and we'll see you in our next program. Thank you.
Gracias a todos.
Chao.